Welcome to the Business Spotlight. My name is Jada Walker. I am your host for today's conversation, and my guest today is Curtis Flax. He is the founder of True Grit Security. We'll be talking about his business today, journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek of what it's really like to own and operate a business. So, Curtis, thank you so much. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here today. I would love for you to give us a little bit of your background of who you are and to tell us a little bit about your business as well.
I've been working in an IT for over 20 years now, most of the time inside a managed service world. Um, and I've seen firsthand how technology can make or break a business, especially in small towns where every dollar matters. Over the years, though, I've watched the industry shift. The bigger MSPs and security vendors keep raising prices and selling solutions that didn't actually solve anything for the smaller businesses. And it
Mm-hmm.
started feeling like rural companies were just left behind or priced out completely. And that didn't sit right with me. So these are the people who keep our communities running, schools, hospitals, county offices, local mom and pop shops. And they deserve the same level of protection as a business in Kansas City or Denver. And so I decided to build something different. And that's how True Grit Security was born. The idea was simple: bring real enterprise grade cybersecurity and IT protection to rural America, but do it in a way that makes financial sense. We focus on practical, proven tools and straightforward pricing. No inflated packages, no scare tactics, and no corporate nonsense. Just solid security, honest communication, and a focus on helping local organizations stay protected without going broke. And at the end of the day, Security exists to close that gap, to make sure small town businesses don't have to choose between staying secure and staying open.
I love that. I'm from a really small town, so I definitely get it. There's a lot of things that close up because no one wants to stay there or just everything moves. So yeah, I love that. So let's set the stage for our viewers and listeners. Generally speaking, what does your current ownership structure look like?
So TrueGood Security is an LLC, co-owned by me and my wife. We each hold 50%. That keeps the ownership local and every decision tied to what's best for our clients and our community. We don't have outside investors right now. Though I've had a few ask if we'd be interested in that, but right now we're just keeping it local. And for now, it's just us, and that means we can stay true to the mission of affordability and no nonsense protection.
Yeah, and then I like it because it's since it's just you guys, it's almost like you guys are able to connect with your community more and get
Correct.
out there and they know you, so then you're like trusted.
Mhm.
I like that. That's cool. So tell us a little bit about the role that you currently play in the business.
So right now I'm everything. I'm the owner, I'm the tech, I'm sales, I'm marketing, I'm finance, all of it. The hours are long and not what most people would call normal, but that's what it takes to get a business like this off the ground. The big difference is I'm not working to pad a vendor's margins anymore. I'm working to build
Hmm.
something that actually protects the people I grew up around.
Nice. So what made you choose to go into business with your wife instead of like maybe someone else?
So, I got a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis about 8 years ago, and it kind of just hit me that, it's time to build something that we can leave a legacy on. Not so much I, but me and my wife can leave a legacy. And like I said, just over the years, watching, you know, smaller businesses get priced out and not be able to afford the cybersecurity because, of increasing not just wages, but, costs just going through the roof, hourly rates and things like that. I just decided, nope, and talked to my wife and she agreed. And so here we are.
That's so cool. I like how you guys can work that out because sometimes families they're a little like they butt heads too much, and so their businesses don't work. But I like that. That's really cool.
Yep.
So many business owners, wow, can't speak, especially those that are newer to entrepreneurship, they feel as though they never have enough time. And you did just mention that it is a little time consuming. So I am curious, based on your experience, if I were to give you an extra 10 hours back each week, how would you invest those hours?
To be honest, if I had an extra 10 hours a week, I'd spend it with family. The business gets a lot of my attention now, and unfortunately, family kind of falls to the wayside a little bit. So if I had an
Hmm.
extra 10 hours, it would be towards family.
Yeah. Do you guys have kids together, or is it just you
Yes.
and your wife? Oh, nice.
So we have four kids total. So
Oh, wow.
three daughters and a boy. And
That
two of
is
the
so
daughters
cool.
are out of college on their own. One of them's just now starting college, and our boy is a freshman. So,
Wow. That's crazy. I only have one daughter and she's about to be 2 next month. So I still have a lot of time with her. Oh my gosh. Well, that's so nice. Are they like, have they ever thought about going into business with you guys as well, or are they venturing out in different ways?
they're going out in their own different ways. I've got one that she's a massage therapist. I got one that's
Oh, nice.
the head of a church, the children's ministry at a church, and I've got another one that's going into dental hygiene.
Oh, that's so
So
cool. I have a friend, she went into the army and she was like a dental hygienist, or she did something with dental. I know that. She was doing like the teeth cleaning, I think.
right.
But yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so before we get into the nitty gritty of the business itself, let's look into your background a bit and what led you here. So, why did you choose to go into business for yourself as opposed to going and working for another cybersecurity company?
Right. Well, and I think we kind of touched on that a little bit earlier is I wanted to bring affordability back to this for small businesses. That's my whole mission is to bring something to number one is what they need, and number two, that's affordable. A lot of businesses come in here and they're charging $200 an hour, or they're charging, $200 a user to protect their systems. These smaller businesses can't afford that. So, I worked with vendors and got the pricing right, and was able to come out and do this at not really a fraction. I mean, I still have to, I understand there's a business, you got to make a profit, but
Mm-hmm.
I was able to come in a lot cheaper than anybody else in the area.
Nice. And how long have you guys been in business again? I probably should probably have
Literally,
asked that.
we literally just started a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we are fresh.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
So it's been in the makings for a little over a
Yeah.
year. But since I was working for another one, I didn't really focus any, I didn't spend any of my business time when I was working for them on this. It was all after hours. So when you only have 3 or 4 hours in the evening to get something done, it just takes a little longer to get things lined out.
Right. No, and then sometimes it's like it's hard to actually take that leap into doing your own thing. So
hmm
I totally understand. So as you look back on your journey so far, what has been the most memorable roadblock or hurdle that you were challenged with that you were forced to overcome?
So probably the biggest one is getting people to understand security matters. Um, I get this whole, well, we're a small company. Why do they want to come after us? Well, the reason they want to come after small companies and small businesses is because they know they don't have the security. 90% of
Mm-hmm.
them don't have the security in place to be able to stop attacks when they happen. And so, I try not to use scare tactics, but sometimes you have to show them real world um, instances and say, look,
Mm-hmm.
this small business over here was three users and they're no longer in business because of this. And you have to show them that. And then it just kind of makes them open up. And so that's probably one of the biggest hurdles that I've had to overcome.
Yeah. Because yeah, I was like some people it's like they don't know until they know. So
hmm
it's like because I don't there was I actually just interviewed someone and he was a lawyer and we were talking about car accidents and getting a hold of attorneys. And I was like, yeah, I just got in a car accident last year and I had no idea. Like, I should have just called the attorney. But I didn't know until I talked to him that I could have got more of yeah, it just made more sense. I was like, yeah, I should have just called an attorney.
Yep. Like I said, sometimes it just takes sitting across from someone and explaining it face to face
Yeah,
before it clicks. And once they see that it happens here and that they can afford the protection, the conversation shifts.
yeah, of course. So let's move on to what makes your business so special. So we've already discussed who it primarily serves. It serves you guys like to serve the smaller businesses.
Mhm.
So how would they know that they are a good fit for your product if they are in the audience right now?
So I always tell people there's not a magic answer for this one. Um, if so, customers, each one has their own style and their own things that they do. And, I'll be honest, not everybody's a good fit. However, if you're a small business, a school, or a county office that's tired of guessing about your IT security, or you're relying on free email with zero protection, which we know a lot of businesses that are doing that, you're a good fit. You know, a 500 user company, I'll be honest, is not a good fit for me because I'm not focused on them. I'm focused on helping the smaller customers. Um, if you've ever thought we're too small to be a target or we can't afford real cybersecurity, that's who this company is built for. So we focus on organizations that need strong protection, but don't have full IT staff or big city budgets. You know, you don't have to know what all the tools do. You just have to care about keeping your business safe and then let me handle the rest.
I like that. That was good. I like that answer. So how do your competitors compare with you?
Mm, a lot more expensive. Um, they bundle in, you know, big city providers will absolutely sell you all the same tools that we use, but they'll
Hmm.
charge two or three times more and they'll never understand your community. Smaller IT shops, meanwhile, the really small ones, I call them schmuck in a truck, but many of them don't approach things with a security first mindset.
Mm.
I TrueGrit Security, our company, sits right in the middle. We're local, we live here, and we bring enterprise grade protection without the inflated without the inflated price tag. And unlike a lot of my competitors, I don't hide behind email or marketing funds. I show up in person and I have the conversation.
Yeah, I love that for your customers. So what is one thing that you wish that more people knew about your business?
Um, Probably the biggest thing I'd like them to know about the business or even just the industry itself is that small towns aren't too small to be attacked. Hackers love targeting businesses that are still using free email with no security because they know defenses are weaker. Out here,
Hmm.
one ransomware hit could close a county office or disrupt a hospital, and you
Oh, I
know
didn't think about that.
that's what we want to protect. If
Yeah,
and that's why TrueGrit was made is because if protection is too expensive or people don't know who to trust, they skip it entirely, and then that leaves them wide open.
yeah. I was saying, especially whenever you said something about the hospital, like I wouldn't even thought about it.
Right,
And I'm sure there's other people who wouldn't have thought about it either until something bad happens. So it's a
right.
good thing, like you guys are there. So this is going to lead me into marketing, which is something that's vital for every business out there, of course, and then often an area that business owners struggle with. So I'm always curious what successful businesses are doing. So what percentage of your monthly sales so far is typically been invested back into your marketing budget, if you guys have done that yet?
So I haven't put anything back in the marketing budget yet. As you know, as I said earlier, we're just getting started. So we're
Yeah,
just getting things going. But right now, our biggest deal is word of mouth. Um, it's always powerful in small towns.
yeah,
Um, I always tell people word of mouth advertising can be the best advertisement you get, but can also be the worst. And it depends on how you portray yourself and how your business runs. Um, but really, what's worked for me is just being real with the people. Is I don't use scare tactics or big, large jargon. I post about real threats in plain way language, and I show how we can fix them. And I can show them how we can fix them without blowing up anyone's budget. And I think that straightforward talk has worked well because in rural America, honesty is the biggest thing that's valued. On top of
yeah,
that, I make a point, like I said earlier, to get out and talk to people. I don't just call them on the phone. I don't just email them, I show up and talk. Even if they say, hey, we're not interested now, I'm going to show up in a couple weeks. And if I see something that, hey, you need to pay attention to this because it's coming, I'm going
Mhm.
to pass that information along because that's how strongly I feel about this. And just like I said earlier, relationships out here are everything. People want to know who
Yeah.
they're dealing with, and that personal connection goes further than any ad ever could.
Yeah, of course. And so with these connections, do you guys have like a CRM that you use to track them, like to track your leads and stuff?
It's called Excel, but yeah. So I know all my neighboring towns, and I know a lot of the business. The best part is I grew up out here. I've lived out here for, I'm 48, and I think I've been here for 46 years. I left for a few years
Wow.
when I thought the big city was my place. And I found out
Hmm.
quickly the big city is not made for me. So, but
It really isn't for everybody.
no.
I'm really from a small town. Like I shouldn't even say I'm from Rantoul whenever I said that earlier. I'm from Armstrong, Illinois, and that town is like there's no one there. There's just like the elementary school and then the high school. And if you like they don't have a football team for their high school. At least I don't think they still do. I don't know. There's just a lot of things that are missing from that area where we moved and like I went to a different school and we just had more. So I get it. Like the small towns, they're yeah,
Mhm.
it's like they're
Yep.
just forgotten.
Yep.
But yeah, I love that because it is like everyone knows everybody, so it's easy to be able to track that.
100%.
All right. So moving from marketing to sales, what does your sales process look like?
Literally it's going out, talking to them, sitting down, getting a feel. My first stop is I'm not there to sell them anything. I'm just there to make an introduction, introduce myself, give them a business card. And then I'll stop back in a week or so and just stop and say hi, how things going, and, if you had a chance to look at the website or anything like that. And then I just, go in to ask them what their pain points are. Is there anything that worries them, anything that scares them? Are they having problems now, um, that we can help them with right now? And that's really been, kind of what it is. And then, I get phone calls back. Like I said, the biggest thing right now is word of mouth. I just had one yesterday that emailed me out of the blue and says, hey, we need a quote for this. And, we got your number from another county office. So I'm like, cool. All right. Well, I'll work on that. So actually, when we get done with this call, I got to go meet with them and see what all exactly they need. So,
Oh, nice. Wait, so you had mentioned earlier it's just you and your wife, so you guys don't have an actual team right now, correct?
mhm. Correct.
Okay. So do you see your guys? Wow, can't speak my words. Do you see you guys expanding in the future to have a team?
Yes. So, in the next 3 to 5 years, I want True Grit to be the go-to name for cybersecurity in Western Kansas and Southwest Nebraska. Long term, I want to grow to hundreds of users, hire full-time, and create good paying local jobs. Part of affordability is keeping opportunities local and making sure that people here can work in tech without leaving for Kansas City or Denver.
Love that. And then I would hopefully give you more time to spend with your family.
100%. And we talked about that earlier is, I have goals with the business and, my
Yeah.
first milestone is 150 users. And that's where we hit sustainability and I can hire the first full-time tech. You know, I check progress constantly because this industry changes so fast. You can't just set it and forget it. You have to adapt. But that's our first hard goal is once we hit 150 users, get somebody hired, and then they can kind of handle most of the tech work, and then I can get out and really start selling even more.
Yeah. Okay, so let's fast forward and let's look at what's to come next. Okay, because you already basically kind of said that. Do you see anything else for your business in the next 3 to 5 years?
Really, that's where I want to be in the next 3 to 5 years.
Awesome.
I want True Grit to be known. I want people
Yeah.
to know that, this is who you call if you want affordable cybersecurity and affordable IT. And I
Yeah.
and I and I think, it takes time, but our name is already getting used a lot in a positive way. I have to throw that in there in a positive way because, like I said earlier, it's either the best or worst advertisement,
Right.
and that it's just, takes time for your name to get out there. And once it does, as long as you keep doing the same thing and you stay true to your values, what you said you're going to do, then it's going to take off.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this will help with it too, because that's our main goal, so that people can get their business name out there and people actually know that they're there and they can get a
Right.
hold of you whenever they need you. So you have a really interesting story. I have loved it so far. So as we wrap up, I do have a few rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Mhm.
Awesome. Okay, so what is the key to success for you?
Persistence, showing up every single day, even when it's hard, that's grit. You know, uh, we talked about earlier, my business name is True Grit Security. I'd never watched that movie before. Um, my wife actually, she goes, "Did you come up with that name because of the movie?" I'm like, "What movie?" And she's like, "True Grit."
That's what I thought too.
So I watched it, and I'm like, it fits. It's kind of how I'm perceiving. But yeah, persistence, really. Like I said, showing up every single day, even when you wake up in the morning, you're just like, I don't want to do anything. Even when it's hard, show up and just be persistent.
And then I was going to ask one piece of advice for business owners. Would that be your would that be your piece of advice, is to keep showing up?
Maybe that, and then don't wait for perfection. If you
Mm,
wait until everything feels ready, you'll never start.
yes,
Work with what you've got and build from there.
I love that. I've heard that so many times, and I'm like, I just need to take that. If I've heard it this many times, I need to take it in myself. Okay, so this is a fun question for you. If you had a little bit of magic dust that you could choose to put on one spot of your business and sprinkle it there, where would it be?
The sales pipeline. I'd love to wake up just to a steady stream of qualified leads because that's the fuel that keeps everything else moving. I mean, I can go out and get them, but just to have them magically show up and say, here's your next 100 customers, that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be the best. Okay, so before we go to the final question of the day, would you please share with our audience how they can follow you and learn more and contact you?
Yeah, so you can find us on our website at truegritsecurity.com. Or you can, my cell phone or my cell phone, my number's on there, everything like that. You can get a hold of us. Um, just reach out. We're on Yelp and all the big ones there that, you can put your business on. But yeah, truegritsecurity.com is probably the best way for you to get a hold of us.
Awesome. Well, we have come to the final question of the day, and that is, what is most inspiring to you today?
So probably what inspires me most these days is for us is proving that rural communities don't have to settle for second rate protection. Like I said earlier, for too long, small towns have been told that real cybersecurity is out of reach. It's too
Hmm.
expensive, or you have to rely on the free email and luck to get by. And watching that narrative is what really drove me to really look into this. There's something powerful about sitting across from a business owner, a school superintendent, or a county clerk and showing them they can have enterprise grade level protection without blowing their budget.
Yeah.
When they realize that it's possible, that they can finally stop worrying about being one click away from disaster, that moment hits hard. You see the relief on their face, and that's really what keeps me going.
I love that. That's awesome. Because, yeah, I totally understand. I've had emails be hacked, all of that, my bank account. Yeah, I'm like, hackers just love me.
Yep.
But
And
this,
like I said earlier, what really fires me up is how personal it all is.
mhm,
I grew up in small town Kansas.
yeah,
These aren't just clients to me, they're my neighbors, my friends, my community. When one of them calls to say we stopped something before it turned into a nightmare, that's the best feeling you can get in the world. And
hmm,
at the end of the day, it's not about the security tools or the compliance checklist. It's about giving rural America the confidence to stand toe to toe with the big cities in the digital world.
Yeah.
Every handshake, every conversation, every small win proves that with the right approach and, like I said earlier, a little grit, we can level the playing field. That's why we built True Grit Security in the first place.
I love that. Well, this was a great conversation. I really enjoyed hearing your story. So thank you so much for sharing. And
Absolutely.
also, yeah, and also, I just want to encourage all of you who are watching to save this show and come back and watch it again because Curtis really did have some great insights for business. Do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you can get notifications every time a new conversation drops, just like this one. Thanks to everyone who joined us today, and special thank you to you, Curtis, for being with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.